Hola, welcome. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Where are you? This is actually terrifying.
Oh,
Okay.
dream.
This is why we can't have nice things. Hi, welcome to our Shakespeare project.
Before we get into this video podcast type thing, I would like to mention that we are talking about some fairly serious allegations that have happened within the Minecraft YouTuber and streamer community about grooming allegations, which aren't really allegations, sexualization of minors, and the just the general not so the not so sweet stuff that's happening upon the internet right now. That's always really happened around the internet, let's be real here. But specifically, like, if any of those might cause you harm, or they aren't things that you would like to hear about, or they are fairly unsavory topics, so if it brings back memories that you don't want to think about, please do stop watching now.
Click off this video.
Click away, or
Click away.
if you're in the class, leave the room. This is us. I would also like to say, like, we have done our fair share of research for the video, but again, we are fairly young, so while we are doing our best to do the subject proper justice, we might get some things wrong, and we there are still things coming out as we're making this, because it's never really over, is it? So, like, please do be reminded that we are trying our best, and we are working with what we have. Specifically, like, these are like things that affect us in a way, in such a backwards, horrible way. But it's trying to put light to it in a fancy little thingamajig. So, Niles, where are you?
I'm picking up a mushroom. Our first bit that we are going to talk about is the Dream SMP. SMP stands for Survival Multiplayer. This is a Minecraft server created by the popular YouTube and slightly controversial speedrunner Dream.
Yeah.
There are over 30 content creators on this said server. We have to explain that most of the streams are lore-based and scripted, and there are some streams that content creators who are on this server do that aren't scripted, or they're just doing like a casual stream or something like that.
Yeah. So essentially, the pretense of the server is there is a storyline that is going cohesively. Is everybody on the server a part of this storyline? No. But most of them are. And so you have your character, and then you have in-character streams. Most of the streams are all in character, but then you have, do I want to make this lore-based, an integral part of character, this, that, the other thing. I have also lost home. Never mind. Home. But
home.
So the basic idea of the Dream SMP is that you have a character, you are playing for a dramatic storyline, and that is that. You don't have much else to be worried about, because it is in fact a silly little game where you are over dramatizing every little thing. And
which is where we get into the next part of
people don't necessarily understand that
it's scripted
and entirely
it didn't really happen.
To the point where people have had to come out and say that they don't hate each other because people get confused.
There's also the issue. I see you. Hi.
Yeah. Hopping around.
There's also I don't remember where I saw this, but I'm pretty sure some people have gotten death threats based off of this whole entire role-play server.
People are really dramatic. People were threatening people over Among Us colors, saying that, like, you know, to the point where people have like had to stop streaming and take a break because people were being disgusting, which is like uncool in every single way.
The fan base. This is fun. So
Is
you
it really?
have three general groups of people. You have the stans. Actually, you have technically 4 groups of people. I'm going off of the script very loosely here.
Very, very.
You have
very,
the
very
stans, you have the regular fans, you have the major fans, and then you have the antis. Antis are basically people who want to cause harm to the community.
Mayhem. Chaos.
Harm. Yeah. And we'll be explaining this later.
You'll be explaining this later. I am not so thoroughly understanding as you are.
I'm a little too active in the fan base, to be honest.
I am very, very opposite of that.
No, I can finally sleep. Okay. Now that I'm sleeping, I can actually like focus on like talking about it. But basically with stans, and this is where Dream kind of comes in. Dream made a video about how stans. Did you watch the video? Because I never watched the video.
I did. I watched the video because I was sat there as someone who more thoroughly understands the idea of fan roles than apparently a major content creator. He essentially goes on and on. He goes on and on about how he's a fan of football, and I say fan because that is exactly what he is. He is a fan because specifically, stan is a term that comes from the music video of well, not it's a song by Eminem that is literally about a fan who is so obsessed with him that, like, to the point where he kills himself, his girlfriend, and their unborn child by I think by driving them off of a cliff or something along those lines. Essentially, it is not really super great. It is a very abysmal situation, but I don't think it's a real situation, but I think like the song comes from the basic pretense of this person is obsessed with me, and that's where the term stan comes from because that's the name of the song. But so essentially that's been taken on to assume like the people who are stans are people who are obsessed with certain content creators or musicians or like third term to the point of what could be considered stalking or like insanity in a way. And so that's generally used as a bad, very, very, very bad term because it is people who are like willing to like hurt others in order to talk to a content creator or, you know, kidnap that content creator to like just because they like them so much. And so it's generally used as a negative term because it is a different brand of person. Because it is not people who are fans of a content creator. There are people who are so thoroughly obsessed with a content creator that they'd go to great lengths they'd go to startling lengths, I would say, to just even be seen by them. And more recently,
honestly terrifying.
It is. The thought of that is terrifying. Genuinely, because I don't think I've ever liked anything that much, to the point of what stans would go to. But within a recent like upsurgence of like fan content and people understanding that that they're allowed to be fans of things, it's become the opposite of what it was intended to be. Where when it was what it's intended to be is a term that explains a fan who is dangerous and is not someone to who is essentially a little bit crazy, right? They are a danger because of the lengths that they go to, and specifically in certain days and age, people are forgetting. Those lines are getting blurred. there's no longer a difference between a stan and someone who just really, really likes someone's content. It's so blurry to the point where content creators don't know the difference. Specifically in this situation, Dream doesn't know the difference. And so what that entails is that over Twitter, he and another content creator, I believe it's Josh, it's spelled ITSJAWSH.
Oh yeah, I know.
They got into some not massive, I would say it didn't blow over well when Josh talked about his community and how he personally does not like what is considered traditional stan content, which is like fan edits, people playing music over pictures of people. He generally doesn't like that. And so he talked about how, like, I personally don't want that. If you're doing that, please stop, which is very valid. As a content creator, you are allowed to set boundaries. But as a statement, before we go into this, I would say that Dream responded to that and did not like what Josh specifically brought up is the big community of people who enjoy Dream's content as like a statement of what he personally considers not his favorite, I think, is something along those lines. And what ended up happening is that Dream ended up responding and completely, I guess, took his part out of context, I would say, because, you know, that's what happens, and took it as like a personal attack and responded in such a way that what I'm going to say is his boundaries are less, they're looser. They're incredibly loose. And while a lot of people are in fact respectful and understand the difference between a hard and a soft boundary and where to stop, and even if a boundary isn't set in place, what you should and shouldn't do, some people, as always, they don't completely understand. And what ended up happening is that Dream defined stan in a way that was not the traditional way of defining it. And, you know, of course, when a content creator does it, then it's fine, because God knows how else we should live our lives. So essentially he was like, oh no, a stan is just a word for a really big fan. And so now we're in a situation where a content creator has tried to change a word that is designed to protect them. And now we're in a sticky situation because, you know, it's a little bit dangerous for you when you try and change a word that literally means someone who puts you in danger. But either way, that's not, you know, that's my personal opinions, and God knows I'm not allowed to think. That I think specifically the things that Dream doesn't understand. The thing that Dream doesn't understand is that the term is supposed to be used as a bad moniker, and that when people try and use, like, specifically, like, a point is like, oh, definitions change over time. Yeah, I get that.
Here's the thing.
Gay used to mean happy, right? I get that. I get that things change over time because of their use in modern language. I get that. I think that's a fascinating thing. I'm genuinely interested in that. I think that's super cool. But on a completely not even separate note, with that same idea in mind, you have to remember that some things don't change, but that we don't allow them to grow and change because of the things that they meant in the past. Right?
Yep.
As a society, we are never going to allow slurs back into the colloquial language. Or at least I fucking hope not. Because they are words that are meant to genuinely offend people, that are meant to be horrific, right? And with them we say, we don't want this word back in our language because of what it's done to people. Right?
Yes.
I don't get why we're allowing a term that legitimately translates to stalker, fan, back into our language. And well, I'm not trying to compare this to slurs. I think I think that those are I obviously I think that those are horrific, and I think that it's disgusting that they were even like that people genuinely thought that they were yes, that people decided that it was okay to so avidly just be horrible to one another. That does need to be changed. Like I understand the changing and the reclaiming and the acceptance part of like how this is who you are, but Stan doesn't need to be that way. That dream is a standard for dream, and I think a lot of people forget that. I'm trying to relate it to the oppression of the setting boundaries and the necessary power play to the patriarchy and to how that oppressed poor hero and how that affected poor hero, because it really did. The second that you elect yourself to become a content creator, you are willingly entering yourself into a dynamic where you are the one in charge. You are putting all of the responsibility on yourself. And I think that is something that a lot of people aren't really getting, that a lot of content creators don't get before they go out there into the world and they do their funky little dance for the world, is that you have responsibilities as a content creator. But like, it is up to you to set boundaries. And if you don't set hard boundaries, then you are setting yourself up for failure. Because
basically you're like the parent of your fan base.
Yes. You are putting yourself into a space where you need to set boundaries. You need to say that this is that, and that is all.
Being a content creator, you have to be like Beatrice's father. You have to parent your fan base and hold them accountable for things that they may or may not have done. If you have found out that they haven't done anything, then you need to correct your mistake and have like a serious talk with your fan base, which I don't think a lot of content creators do.
No, I think that's we have been pinning a lot. We pin a lot of the disgusting, horrible things that are happening on the poor fan base. Not to say that they are poor fan bases, because a lot of them are fucking disgusting. But
it's honestly terrifying.
Yeah, the people can be so genuinely disgusting. You lose a lot of faith faith in humanity when you do your silly little dance on the internet. But
yeah,
which is genuinely disappointing. But as a statement, I think that like content creators, the ones who are more irresponsible, I would say, generally take it upon themselves to pin everything on the fan base, because part of it is like you do have to understand that it's a contract. You get some, you take some, you give good content, you pray to God that your fan base is all right.
Which brings us sort of into the bullet point of character versus reality.
Yes.
Going back to the Dream SMP and talking about the fan base at the same exact time, there are people who quite literally bullied content creators for things that happen in the storyline, in the things that were made up for their viewers' entertainment.
Yeah. It's like a situation like, I'm doing this for you, but you're being a jerk in the thing you're doing for me. Yeah, shut up. If you're not doing it, you don't get a say. And that is the goddamn truth. Because while I do talk about, the responsibility of content creators, I think there's also a responsibility of the fans. And we talk a lot more about that, but I still think that people forget. And I consider Stan someone who still defends Call Me Carson to this day. That's someone I consider a stan. And I don't think of that as a good thing. I think of that as someone who is so genuinely someone who has genuinely lost touch with reality and the idea of content creators as people and not as unattainable beings. I think that they've lost sight of the fact that they are, parasocial.
Human.
You don't actually know them. They are legitimately just a person on the internet that made you laugh. And I get that you're connected to them. And I get that they make you laugh, and so you feel like you have a genuine connection with them, because that's how the human psyche works. We're crazy, right? But why can't you just recognize that everybody is dangerous in one way or another? This statement, I think it's important to genuinely get what people are trying to tell you. Like, I understand you like them, but this man has several allegations and has confirmed that these allegations are in fact true. Why are you still defending them? Just as a question, a genuine question. Why would you want to, again, align yourself with that viewpoint?
But it's the hard truth, which I think most people don't understand.
that it is
truth is scary.
Yeah, the truth
and
is
rightfully so. It should be scary.
Yeah, no, that's very right. That was an incredibly intelligent thing to say, Niles.
Thanks. I haven't said anything.
I know.
You're carrying this whole entire project, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just.
But you have the good footage.
Speaking of parasocial relationships.
Oh yeah, this is where we get a little bit spicy.
We're getting into. We touched base on this very briefly with all the stands, but the sexualization and idolization of content creators is terrifying.
Horrific. Genuinely horrific. Legitimately makes me sick. Like,
it's
you can't
really bad at this.
You can't go a day without seeing someone do something fucking creepy. And I think that is such a drastically horrific world to live in, where I can't go on the internet without seeing someone look at a minor and say, I like you in a way that I shouldn't like you.
Which is bringing us back to the Dream SMP and like the Minecraft community, because that's what this video basically is about.
This is what it's supposed to be about. Let's be real here. Supposed
to be about. Originally, when we came up with this, we thought it was going to be funny joke. Oh no!
We legitimate. You fell down, like, legitimately, for real. I thought
in real life, in game.
I was thinking like, oh, that's the funny joke. Haha, we fell.
We did.
We tripped and fell. As in face first. We did not expect to have to deal with the things that we're dealing with now. Because
when this project was first introduced, we're like, haha, funny Minecraft creators. We could somehow connect the wedding from Much Ado About Nothing to the wedding of Fundy and Dream.
Two content creators who have very specific characters, and their characters are in love with one another. Their characters, specifically, not them, because we don't get to know that sort of information. Because we don't deserve it, because we are literally strangers on the internet. And they owe us nothing. Jesus Christ, they owe you literally nothing. Go to bed. You have a science test tomorrow. Single person in the entire existence of the entire universe deserves their own life, right? Except, of course, it's the situation of abortion, and we're not going to get into that, because Jesus Christ, that is the topic for another podcast.
I posted the video on his kind of like an alt account, because on his regular accounts,
it is he
puts up a
defined
a character, and I feel like it's not emphasized enough that Schlatt plays a character.
Yeah. Does that
excuse on Jay Schlatt?
Does that excuse things that have happened in the past? No, not entirely. Hold accountable, but do know that it is unfair to genuinely attack someone, to call them names. Don't do that. Be kind. I say after having called people genuinely disgusting for aligning themselves with a name.
Yeah.
Hypocritical. I understand that, but you're not a character, are you? Are you a character? I don't think so. I think that you're.
Am I?
I think that you're a 13-year-old girl who needs to settle down before their parents get home and yell at them for playing Joji too loud.
Oop.
This is in general an aggression towards me addressing the people.
Did you say this channel called The Weekly Slap, where he literally is not playing a character, he's just playing... There's a zombie.
It's essentially him just genuinely giving advice to people that email him.
Is he playing Call of Duty?
I don't know what that game that is.
He's
I'm
playing
a
a
fake gamer,
first-person
folks.
shooter.
Fake gamer, folks.
Yeah, I only play Minecraft and Assassin's Creed. That's it.
You're doing better than I am.
Called I forget which.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now. And we're also gonna keep referencing the Daily Slap because
the Weekly Slap is weekly.
Weekly Slap. I'm so tired.
Fake fan. No, it's legitimately just 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and neither of us have any brains, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Basically, he gives genuine advice to people who email him. And when he posted the video of Goodbye for Now, it was because... I don't even know why it was, because it was a mixture of multiple things, I think, at this point.
For him, it was an aggression of people. I think people took it a little bit out of context, but the title out of context, I mean. It was an aggression that, like, the character on Jay Schlatt is a character. He wants you to watch him like it's a television show. It is not a genuine person. It is meant to be over-the-top, dramatic, stupid, and a little bit offensive, right? And that is generally what he's supposed to be.
Which is what another popular creator, Ludwig, has said, which he does reference.
Yes, he
in
actively...
The Weekly Slap.
But the Weekly Slap is the exact opposite of that. It is him essentially genuinely giving advice to people who ask for it. And so he took it upon himself to say, hey, I'm going to step away from this for a bit, because this is not... I am meant to be a character. You're supposed to watch me like a telenovela. And so he essentially just said, I'm not going to post for a while on this specific channel. Have a good one. And, valid. Exactly what should have happened, because he's a content creator and not someone that I genuinely know as a person or enjoy, and so I'm not going to miss him. I think the big thing is, like, he didn't have to explain anything to us at all. He could have just left. Absolutely.
He chose to.
Absolutely valid and fine. He should have just left, because what ended up happening is that people got really uppity and were like, you people are the reason why we're not... Shut up. Please, good God. You have your geometry test tomorrow. You have a geometry test. Go study. Go nap. Please. The establishment of a character is so heavily necessary in the current day and age, because people will actively take things the wrong way. And there are people who are actively looking for a way to get you out of the sphere. I get that,
Just
but
yeah.
Part
it's
of
just
it,
a way that
part of it, Mr. Dream was taken, is that not everybody is. Some people do genuinely have criticisms for you, as they should, because you are human and you are not doing your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
But, the understanding of a parasocial relationship and the fact that you have to reinforce that it is exactly that, a parasocial relationship. You do not have an actual genuine relationship with them. They are people who make things for you. You are in a...
You're in a one-sided relationship with them.
Not even one-sided. You're in an exchange. You're not even, like, one-sided. It's not like you really, really like them and they don't like you. It's that you're hitting on the bank teller. They don't give half a shit. They're getting paid to do this. And you're acting like they're going to marry you next week.
Which doesn't mean to say that content creators don't care about their fan base.
Oh no, I'm certain that they do.
Because they do.
You genuinely are just a number. They don't know your name. They don't know who you are. You know what? They probably won't remember you in 20 years when they have kids and they've stopped doing internet things.
Unless it's some weird Wattpad fanfiction.
Unless you're genuinely living in a Wattpad fanfiction, then I don't think they're going to care too much. It is not friendship for friendship. It is not friendship for anything. You're giving them money and they're giving you a good. That is that.
It's like going to the, I'm bringing up the bank teller again.
Yeah.
It's like going up to the bank teller, withdrawing what that you need, and they're literally paid to do that.
Legitimately.
Because that is their job.
There's no need to flirt with the bank teller. They're not going to give you an extra $2 on top of the thing you're already taking out of your bank account. Right? It is so genuinely unnecessary. Nothing's going to come from it. Why are you doing it? And the fact that people forget that is where we get the
stands, parasocial relationships.
Yes.
People literally
forgetting their
the
place.
internet because of people. We are going to talk about next is the sexualization of women in the streaming field. More specifically, the Minecraft community.
Because that's our area of expertise, baby.
It's literally all we watch.
It's all we do.
It's sad.
All we do. Brains.
It's brain rot.
Gone. All we have is maybe Minecraft YouTubers will be our always.
We are going to be talking about Nikki Miyachu. More specifically, something that she literally said in a video.
Person that sexualizes me. Imagine your daughter, your young daughter. She watches Minecraft YouTubers and Minecraft streamers. Okay? She watches Stream and she watches Tommy and she watches Wilbur and she watches all these people, right? Imagine
Nikki,
then she sees Miyachu. Oh, it's a girl. That's awesome. I'm a girl. Imagine she goes in my chat and she sees these disgusting messages. There's two things that can happen. She feels super uncomfortable and does not know what's going on, or she thinks that's normal. Imagine your daughter. She sees these comments and she thinks, oh, that's normal. It's normal for a girl to be treated like that. It's normal for a girl to have to constantly get comments about her body and her appearance. That's completely normal, right? It's normal for people to go into your chat and to, I don't fucking know, sexualize.
Wilbur Soot said once on a Phil's
a
Minecraft stream.
Oh my god, that bit, it hit. Name one thing that a teenage girl is genuinely allowed to enjoy without being shamed for it. He did not stop. That was a smacker.
Which we could say so much more about those two.
Oh my god.
Like, they're good content creators. They're actually very, very, I wouldn't say wholesome in a way, because you did have the drug van.
Wilbur's not wholesome. Nikki Miyachu.
No. We love her in this household.
Oh my god. She'd probably, like, oh my god, she's probably so nice. I hope she's real nice. Oh my god, I'm violating my parasocial relationship contract agreement.
Basically, something about what she said as a whole hit me hard, mainly because since, I don't know about Dana, but like since I was a kid, it didn't matter who it was, but there was always someone who said something about what she mentioned. And I thought it was normal, because I was a dumb kid.
No, not even
still dumb.
I'm gonna point out, it's not because you're a dumb kid, it's because it is so heavily reinforced by literally everything you've ever known.
This is true.
I think I was talking with my dad one day, and I was like, yeah, I genuinely like playing video games. I think that they're super duper cool. He was like, why don't you play? I was like, good question. Good fucking question, sir. Because maybe it's like, I was like, I genuinely just didn't click in my brain that like that it would like, I had always been super interested, and I had always vicariously lived through people who played video games. YouTubers, people who played video games online, like, just, that had always been, like, because it never dawned on me that I was,
allowed
to, because it is so constantly heavily reinforced that, like, within the young girl's psyche, that it's like treated as abnormal. It's like not,
It is.
It's not even slightly considered like a valid, genuine interest. And I think that that's where a lot of the toxicity within the community comes from, because
And even though there are female content creators, there are so few of them.
They're few and far between, and the ones who do exist are either vapidly shamed, or like something happens and they just feel the need to leave because, like, again, perfectly valid. But when someone leaves, it's not like there's someone itching to fill that hole. It's like, listen, take it. This is going. I'm bouncing ahead a little bit here. We're gonna come back to this, but Call Me Carson got canceled. Great. There are literally 300,000 little white gamer boys bucking to fill his place. And you know what? Literally every single one could. Because in such a horrific fashion, they are given priority. Genuinely. In such a terrifying way. It's something that every girl feels. Because, whether it's football, or it's gaming, or even, like, when it really comes down to it, it's genuinely anything. And that is so upsetting that it is anything. At least once in their life, every single person who is generally assigned female at birth has felt that way. Because it's just allowed. I wasn't allowed over the most trivial things too. Like, and I remember this because it's stuck with me ever since literally 2nd grade. I was 6 years old. I was on the playground of my Catholic school. And
not a good situation to begin with.
Some little shit, right? He brought in race cars because they had just built a new playground set, and there was this funky little, like, rail on the side that you could play with race cars. I remember this so vapidly because I was a little engineer girl. I love learning about science. I still in a way do. I think that science is really interesting. But it has genuinely died out so much. But I was 6, and some little skinny Catholic white boy looked at me. I think he was blonde. I can remember both their names. It has affected me in such a way. They looked at me and they said, "Girls can't play with race cars. Go away. Go sit on the swings. Go do hopscotch. Fuck off." And that so genuinely stuck with me in a way because it was like, hold on, what the fuck makes you think that I can't play with race cars? Why can't I play with race cars? It's literally a bit of metal. Why is that a thing that's happening?
Because it's become so genderized. That's not even a word, but I don't care.
It's become so radicalized. The polars, like, I hate to break it to you, everything is just a societal concept. Nothing is real. Your parents are just matter, baby. They don't even got names if you try hard enough.
We live in a society, and I hate quoting the Joker, but we do live in a society.
We do be living in a society, though. But
I love how this went from content creators to society.
Well, because where that plays in is that Hero was actively shamed, and nobody listened to her, and because, it's just so genuinely sickening, because it's just, we can't really change it, can we? I'm gonna have to spend my entire life doing what? Sewing and reading The Handmaid's Tale? I don't want to do that. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to kill some bitches in Call of Duty. I want to actively murder people in a video game. And why can't I do that?
Society.
Men. Sexualization of minors also genuinely, like, directly affects us in a terrifying way.
because there are content creators on the Dream I just saw that. There are content creators on the Dream SMP who are minors.
Like children.
There are, like, not like children, not like 13.
No, not like 2-year-olds playing Minecraft on the internet. But like,
which I'm gonna
get
into that later.
Hate to say it. Guess what? They are still children because they are not adults.
Sexualization of minors, and the content creators literally specifically saying, yo, I feel very uncomfortable by this.
Hey, yo,
please
cut
stop
that out.
And there are some fans who don't stop.
I don't understand where it clicks in your brain that it's okay to be an asshole.
Because it's never.
Because it's not. Just shut up. You have geometry homework. Go do it.
Do you have geometry homework? Is that why you keep bringing it up?
No.
It doesn't mean that you can't, like, I'm going to say this very specifically, respectfully simp for content creators unless they say I'm uncomfortable.
And if they do say that they're explicitly uncomfortable with it,
sure, respect their
guess
wishes.
what, big man? It's your turn to shut up and sit down. Because, you don't get a say. As like an idea, I think that we, as people, forget that admiration is something to be, like, used in moderation.
Yes.
That's a quote. Someone used that as their senior quote. I'm looking at the people in our class. Admiration is something to be used in moderation. I expect my proper credits. But when we do talk about things like this, like, part of it is, like, understanding, like, I keep on going back to this because it's something that I feel the need to hark on because literally nobody remembers it. You don't know them. They are not people.
They're not your friend.
They're not your friend. In fact,
they're not your
if
buddy.
They met you, they'd probably genuinely hate you.
Yeah.
Hate to say it. You're probably genuinely.
You're great.
You're probably. I'm certain that you're great, but you're also probably genuinely unlikable. Everybody is. Nobody's likable. I don't like anybody, and that's on whys.
People scare me.
Gotcha.
Especially
into different.
Especially Dream Team TikTok and Dream Team Twitter. I just tweeted. And I'm just so confused. Tommy.
Oh god. That's one of that's back on topic. Thanks, Tommy in it, for your horrific tweet.
For your tweet.
Thanks, Tommy in it, for your tweet. I will not be quoting it because I'm not looking at. Oh my god, he tweeted at KSI again. Again. Genuinely, this man. God, somebody tweet at him and tell him to stop. He needs to calm down.
I think the only one at this point is probably Phil's in Minecraft.
Phil's in Minecraft. I love Phil's in Minecraft. Stop.
If you can't do.
Note that when I say I love someone, I don't mean it as in I would genuinely die for them. And you know what? I'll say it as a joke. I'd genuinely die for Phil's in Minecraft. I wouldn't genuinely die for Phil's in Minecraft. I'd die for Phil's in Minecraft, but I wouldn't genuinely. Not even in the slightest. Phil's in Minecraft means nothing to me.
Oh.
You can't say that somebody means something to you unless, like, they
You've
genuinely do. Unless you genuinely know them, Mr. Benedict. But as a statement, a lot of the time, like, I think I do this too. Even me and my God complex are wrong sometimes. I think that we genuinely, because of such a pervasive, that the internet is so much, so much of the
Wilbur
time.
song. The internet has ruined me.
I
Because,
agree.
let's be
I
honest.
agree. I can't do a single thing on the internet without something popping up, and then my hopeless romantic in me just goes, and all of a sudden
Evermore.
listen. I have genuinely got an emotional attachment to that song, and
It's fine. It's fine.
who are you? Where are you? Oh my god! I found pillagers.
Kill them.
Kill them, pillagers. Oh, like with Beatrice and Benedict specifically, like the one scene where they're like, "Oh, Benedict is like, oh, I do love you. I love you so much," and she's like, "Prove it. Kill somebody." And he's like, "No," and she's like, so you don't genuinely love me." I was personally taken aback by that one.
Yeah, that threw me through a.
That threw me for a loop.
Frick.
Yeah, that one kind of didn't. That one didn't sit right in me as a statement. I think that we forget that when I say that I have really, really noticed that when I say that I love someone, I don't always mean it.
Yeah.
I just say it because I don't have a word to accurately describe how I feel. Because admire isn't the right word by any means of communication. I don't think admire is the right word. Because I don't admire Phils of Minecraft.
What did you?
I don't admire Phils of Minecraft. I genuinely am too afraid to admire anybody on the internet because
like the whole we're going to keep bringing this up.
People do things and people aren't always savory. It's
people aren't always who you think they are.
People are never who you think they are. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
You think you know me?
Never. Not even once in my whole life.
First bit
Nuh-uh.
about me.
Nope. I mean, I know you because we've had conversations upon conversations about why we are the way we are.
Drama hours be hitting.
Oh my god, sweep over uwu. Genuinely, we aren't people. And I'm gonna go out on a limb. Nobody in our Shakespeare class knows who we are in the slightest. I mean, yeah, sure, they get the I smile a lot because that's all I do in that class. I don't think I've said a word since. I don't think I've said an actual intelligent word in that clalass. I'm so sorry, Mr. Walsh. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be like that. It's just that I genuinely.
The hours are always.
Not only that, I'm just genuinely too scared to talk in front of people. Hey, I'm also in improv. It's kind of the duality of man for me. The sexualization of minors. Which I think I'm going to wrap up with the clean little bow of genuine love is dead. That doesn't mean that you are allowed to replace it with weird shit. Period.
Yeah.
End of discussion. The time is up. Chefs, please step back from the chopping blocks. Please put down your knives. Pack up your knives and go. This is a non-negotiable. But with the sexualization minors, I think that now that we've been talking for a total of at least
2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh man,
cars and
it's time. We've been
the main attraction. The way that we've legitimately been dancing around this for the past 2 hours is so funny.
Because it is so relevant to everything that we've talked about.
Not only is it relevant to everything that we've talked about, it's sickening. It is. It is genuinely. It genuinely makes me upset all of the time.
It's honest to God terrible.
Hey,
it's terrible that
the fact that this exists it is a crime. It's actually legitimately a crime.
And
I was gonna make a joke about how it should be a war crime, but it is an actual legitimate crime. Man's a groomer.
Crime. Yeah.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
Because we're genuinely not doing all right. Hey, diamonds.
Oh, fuck. That's some lava right there. That's some hot shit.
Ooh.
I'm gonna.
Can't talk right now. I'm doing hot shit. being good. I'm bubbling lava. As a statement, the Lunch Club was a YouTuber group. Isn't that fun? Those always end up in drastic failure. But the Lunch Club was a YouTuber group that consisted of a bunch of. I think they're friends. I think I consider them friends. But they were a group of friends who had all in the past been on a mutual server called SMP Live. I think they were all on it. I'm almost certain they were all on it. But you know, the point of it was just a nice little fun little group because people liked the dynamic of people who were a part of it. And so as a general idea, they decided to take it upon themselves to, I guess, create a group. And so it was a group of,
it's like Hype House.
It's like Hype House, but except they
Minecraft YouTubers.
They Minecraft and not dance. I think there are 7 members, 6 or 7. I can't remember the exact one because I don't know if I got all of them down here. I think it's 7, and I think the 7 consisted of Call Me Carson, Slimesicle, Ted Nivison, No Hug Box, Travs, Jay Schlatt, and C Scoop. So essentially, they were all part of a server called SMP Live, and from there they created a group channel where they did non-Minecraft things. Ironic, isn't it? But so what am I gonna say?
It's very hard to word these things because
they're incredibly serious allegations that I don't think can even technically be considered just allegations anymore.
Because it's all true, which makes it even worse.
Because it was confirmed by the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Also, multiple other people in this lunch club.
What's happening is that they were a group for a while. They made like 6 whole videos. Isn't that crazy? 6. That's such a big number. That's older than me.
How old are you?
I'm doing my best to rapidly change how old I am because I think you don't get to know.
Yeah, parasocial relationships.
Parasocial relationships. I'm a podcaster, not your. And then, and I think it was late. Was it? I think it was early 2020. They disbanded, which is like,
and no one knew why.
It was fucking 2 weeks in. They disbanded. I think it was beginning of 2020. I think that would explain. I think that's the
it's a child.
A child. I think it was 2020, but so as a statement, they stopped making content together. As under the brand of the Lunch Club. They still casually made content together, but not as the group that they once were. Which is like, nobody understood why it was happening. Nobody understood why it had happened. Everybody was like, are they still friends? And they were. People still made content together. They were still talking and hanging out and such, and they were still generally friends, I think. They had never come out against one another. Nothing had ever happened with that. It was just that they were no longer under the umbrella term of the Lunch Club. They no longer existed. And then, so I think it was the 5th of January, shit hit the fan. And that's the nicest way that I think I can put it. Just absolutely obliterated. Everybody came out. It had very clearly been coming for at least a little while. And it was announced that Call Me Carson had solicited not very kind picture, not unsavory, my favorite word, unsavory pictures from multiple girls around the age of 17. These are very serious because that means that is possession of child pornography, which is,
Fine.
very uncool and something that you should be ashamed of, because it is genuinely disgusting. And now I won't say that that's the same as like having pictures of 6-year-olds. I still think that is genuinely disgusting. Don't get me wrong. It's just a different world. Extraterrestrial. What this means is that, this is where all this talk of parasocial relationships and all this talk of the sexualization of minors and of the power dynamics, and how when you enter yourself into this social contract, you are generally just so responsible now. It's like having kids.
Yeah.
And that means that it is your duty as, a good Samaritan member of society to wait until you're ready to have a fan base to create content. And so part of the way that things are now is that people are generally no longer supporting Mr. Call Me Carson, very reasonably so. But a lot of people aren't understanding why people are stopping supporting the support. No, it is not because the man, was having conversations with 17-year-olds. It is perfectly fine, perfectly okay. I understand. Having conversations.
At the time,
it's that
he was 19.
At the time he was 19, which is I'd consider that okay. 17 and 19, perfectly fine. It's at the time. It's not. It's the fact that under federal law, you're not supposed to exchange illicit pictures with them, which I completely understand. Because, wow, why would you want to do that? They are 17. Why would you want to do that with a 17-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think it's the power dynamic, because Carson was at the height of his career whilst doing this. Like, we talked a bit about SMP Live. SMP Live was a major renaissance of Minecraft content.
It was the pièce de résistance.
Yeah, no, it was. Sorry for butchering that. I'd consider that what really brought Minecraft back from the dead. I absolutely do. I think SMP Live was one of the first things that really established Minecraft of it. It doesn't just have to be building. It doesn't just have to be fighting. It doesn't have to do this, that, and the other thing. It can just be people putzing around the way that we are, except it's not a serious conversation. It's the background. It's them doing stupid things.
Messing around.
Yeah, it's them putzing around. And the establishment of that is what really brought I'd consider that their claim to fame. That is why they became as big as they did, because they were funny and they did it in a medium that hadn't been explored before. Podcasts have always been explored. Podcasts have existed from the dawn of time, as far as I'm concerned. Podcasts have been alive since I was. Before that, podcasts have been alive since the Stone Age. All right, but generally, it's not like this was. It's not like he was what I don't. It's not like he was small and it was something that he did when he was 15 and. Not 15. That he did when he was still just starting out, or like that it didn't really matter. This was height of his career. This was when everybody was beginning to know who they were. And that's what makes it so genuinely sickening. And that's why people are saying that this is gross. Not because not because of the age difference, but because of the fact that a power dynamic was introduced. This has been said in multiple tweets. Well, we'll pull up the first one here.
And there's also, we mentioned this very early, but the lunch club.
The lunch club, every single person has come out saying that they don't support Carson and what he did, that they think it's disgusting, and while I'm not certain if it's genuine, because, you know, I hate to say it, we don't know if anything's genuine these days, because of parasocial relationships. But, so as a statement, they have
Slimesicle.
Mr. Charlie Slimesicle, it's been said and done before, the little dance that we played.
Way too many times, honest to God. Why?
People are...
Why do people get away with this, is my question.
No, how do you get away with this? How do people not... I think a lot of things is, like, a lot of the time, people are also trying to pin a lot of the blame on the 17-year-olds. That they should have known what they were doing. That they shouldn't have done it because they knew that they were minors. And, I really do hate to say it, but not only are you victim blaming, they are honestly and legitimately, they're 17. Name something that that you've done. I can name like 8 things in the past 2 years that I've done that I so thoroughly regret that at the time I just didn't. I don't think I completely comprehended that. You know, that's a little bit embarrassing. I think I can say that I don't think I've ever done something that I am so genuinely ashamed of that I don't think I could ever, that I hate myself and I don't think I could ever face myself in the mirror. I don't think I've ever done anything that bad yet. I'm gonna put a yet there because I'm not perfect by any means. God knows I'm not.
Nobody's perfect.
Like, nobody's perfect. I gotta work it.
We put content creators on a fucking pedestal.
On such an ugly pedestal too. Like, Jesus, make it look nice if I'm gonna be upset when I watch you do something stupid.
Exactly.
And in the most genuine way, they don't even matter to me. I just could not care less, and yet I'm still so torn up about this. But this, like, specifically does relate to, like, everything. Why does everything have to be so ugly? Who gave controversial hot take? But I do think it's important in the cases of people like, as we were talking about before, Call Me Carson, because specifically public shaming is the way that people learn about the crimes, which is such a horrible way to put it, but that's how I'm going to, because I don't really know what other way to put it, because it's literally a crime. But I think that's public shaming is how the word spreads, and while that's like super great in situations with one like with Call Me Carson, I think that it's also really bad in situations where people are not horrible. I think that it's not necessarily a necessary evil per se, but rather a precautionary measure. And I think that we forget that sometimes, that it should be treated as a precautionary measure and a final measure, something that we do only when it's an endangerment of other people, and not
Call Me Carson.
Huh?
Hence the Call Me Carson.
Yeah, hence why things are coming out. It's because he took advantage of people who are not, people who are young, people who are dumb, a position of power that you could like. I'm certain that people are gonna try and argue like that. They knew what they were doing. They were old enough to know what they were doing. But God, power dynamics play so hard into everything. I don't get why you're so caught up on the fact. Why are you emphasizing the fact that they're 17 so much, huh, pervert? but
Exactly.
genuinely, huh? What's
I
up?
shouldn't laugh, but like, people say it way too much. Honest to God. Like, shut up. There are other factors in play here.
It's so funny to me
More
to
than you
think.
think.
It's I have to laugh about it, otherwise I'll cry. But it's so funny to think that people just genuinely forget that like these really basic things that we're talking about. Like I think that it's so funny that people forget that there's always a power dynamic, and that because like there always is, even if it's not as prominent as one in say the relationship between a fan and a creator, it's still there, man. Even when it's just like who's driving and who's not, who knows how to drive, who doesn't, and like there's minor things that just do, weigh in, and this is coming from someone who, I don't know, I don't know what I'm talking about, really. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I don't know a single thing solidly. The entire world is subject to change, and I could be so wrong. And I wouldn't even know, because really, who cares? I am a child. But, that's what's so fucked up about the situation, is that I even if I am wrong, I think I've got it down more than some adults in the room, so.
Which is,
not necessarily in the room that
honestly,
this is being played in, but as in the room as like a general statement. I have full faith in you, Mr. Walsh. Don't take that the wrong way. I think you're doing your best, sir.
Everything that we've talked about today, it all comes down to internet etiquette, public shaming,
not being a jerk,
and having some common sense.
If you just used your brain, you would have known that sexting a minor might not be the best idea for your future. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think that was a great move. I think that that might have been a mistake, possibly, perhaps.
You think?